Hello there and welcome to the weather window. We're going to have a little look at the weather for the week ahead and just talk a little bit about the summer pattern and whether it is likely to change. I will be releasing my August forecast tomorrow on the 1st of August. Can you believe it's the last month of meteorological summer already? It's been quite a wet and unseasonable July. It'll be interesting to see the statistics that come out from the Met Office, of course, over the coming days. But I think we can expect it just to be a touch below normal in terms of temperatures and rainfall to be way above normal, although there has been quite a lot of intra-variation depending on your location. Some locations are easily had double the amount of rain for July, and the temperature's just a smidge below the average overall. I think we'll probably come down about zero point 0.3 degrees below normal, but we'll wait and see what the Met Office has to say on that. Let me explain what's going on just now and what has been going on. Essentially, our weather is always driven by the jet stream, which is normally a weak affair in the summertime because the jet stream is really that fast flowing river of air up 18,000 feet above our heads. And it's created with a contrast from warm tropical air and cold polar air. So in the summer, there's less of a contrast and therefore usually less of a jet stream. It begins to power up in September, as you know, and it tends to be weakest during spring, during May in particular, May and in June is when we see the jet stream in Europe or in the UK being at its weakest. But this year, I would say there's a couple of wee factors here. First of all, sea surface temperature anomalies. The Atlantic's been very, very warm. In June, it was about 5 degrees above normal. Sea surface temperatures were about 17 degrees in my location in the Clyde, and that's what you would expect as an air temperature. So that's phenomenally high. It was about 5 degrees above normal. They've now went down, reduced because of all the unseasonably wet weather. The sunshine was obviously a big factor in warming up the seas around us, but the sea surface temperature anomalies, those very, very high anomalies, have now transferred to the other side of the Atlantic. So just off Newfoundland, there it's about 5 degrees above normal. We're about 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees above normal just now, as it is. Um, and essentially, what it's doing is just allowing a little bit extra energy and moisture to get into the air. So that's one factor. I think that's created the summer that we have been experiencing so far. The other one, I think we'll have to go back to the winter time, the major stratospheric warming, and we had a few of them, didn't we, during February and into March, which created the delayed spring for the UK. And then that glorious spring when it did arrive, it was amazing. Halfway through April, May was fantastic, and June was just so glorious, flaming June. It was absolutely incredible. Um, and why I'm talking about that is because when we have a sudden stratospheric warming, it seems so bizarre to be talking about that in the summertime when it happens during the winter. But what it does is it changes the jet stream. It pushes the jet stream further south and it creates a meridional pattern, which is a very wavy or loopy pattern. And that's what we've observed since the stratospheric warming back in February and March. And there's been 6 or 7 areas of low pressure across the globe, with corresponding 6 or 7 areas of high pressure in between the low pressures. And the loops of the jet stream is what drives the weather. But because there's so many loops, nothing's really been moving very far. So that was fantastic for us during May and June when we were stuck under one of those favourable loops, high pressure. But it moved slightly to the east. And of course, July, we've been stuck under low pressure. And low pressure is set to dominate for the first half of August, I would certainly suggest. I'll give you all the details for August tomorrow with my written forecast. So low pressure is in charge this week, and it's been very wet for many areas over the weekend. Northern Scotland's been great, but most other areas have had a real soaking. What you can see behind me is quite typical of most locations in the UK, I'm sure. Tuesday sees that rain sinking south and clearing. It's not going to be a spectacular day, but it will be much better, much drier, and it should brighten up, especially in the north. Northern Scotland should have a good day tomorrow. The east coast, perhaps hanging on to cloud and a little bit more showers, especially eastern coast of England. On Tuesday night, another area of low pressure comes in, and it's going to come across the channel because of the jet stream, which is really powerful and much stronger than it would normally be at this time of the year, is flowing from America across the Atlantic, and then it's just dipping south of the UK, just dipping south of Ireland, and now flowing down into the Mediterranean basin before it loops back up. One of those loops that I was discussing earlier on. So it's taking the track of the low pressure further south. Consequently, northern Scotland may have a drier day on Wednesday. The rain might not reach northern Scotland. Um, Central parts of the UK, though, could have quite a wet Wednesday. I'd say anywhere from central Scotland south, and especially northern England. And the likes of Newcastle on Wednesday, with a strong easterly wind, may only record 15 degrees as a maximum temperature. So it's going to feel cool on Wednesday with the wind and rain. Whereas Tuesday, tomorrow, the temperature should be average because it's brighter. So 19 to 24 degrees tomorrow. But on Wednesday, I think we're struggling really. If you're under the cloud and rain, mid-teens, mid to high teens, maybe low 20s in one or two locations if you get some bright weather. That quite vigorous area of low pressure, which will also generate quite a lot of wind, should start clearing out the way, and it will introduce a northerly flow for us all on Thursday and Friday. But here I see a little weather window, a little gap, if you like, and maybe even a little ridge of high pressure beginning to extend its influence across the UK, particularly on Friday. So Western areas should be quite decent on Thursday. Should be quite a good day, quite a usable day if you're looking to get out and about to holiday or to do some work outside. Thursday in the West is looking not bad. Friday, most of the UK should be fine and generally sunny, feeling a little bit warmer because, of course, the sunshine is so strong in early August. So the temperatures will be 19 to 24 or 25 degrees. So average or just a smidge above in places where you have more prolonged areas of sunshine, and the UV index is going to be high on Thursday and on Friday. But the weekend, unfortunately, there's more low pressures coming. It's a different nature of beast for the weekend because the low pressures are really developing within the tropical Atlantic this time for the weekend. And they're getting picked up by the jet stream. And at the moment, they look like flabby lows. They don't look like anything that would concern you. They maybe bring some showers and bring some humidity and warmth. But just a note of caution that it really depends upon how those low pressure areas interact with the jet stream. As a jet stream is particularly strong and seasonably strong, it could suddenly just whip up a deep area of low pressure, giving us a more unsettled weekend. But I'll give you much more detail as we're going along. It's difficult just now to nail it from day to day. You probably noticed that if you look at your weather apps, are changing every 2 minutes. I have a little look at all the model runs each day, and each model run actually has 4 runs per day every 6 hours. And I can tell you that there is variation not only between the models, but in each run each day. But there is a hint today that around about the 10th of August that things may settle down a little. And I'll talk much more about that with the August forecast. Thanks so much for viewing this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Please let me know what the weather's doing in your area. I hope you enjoyed the little explanation into why we're having this unseasonable weather. And let's keep our fingers crossed from middle of August onward for a little bit of late sunshine or late summer sunshine. Thanks for viewing, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.